You're walking down a dimly lit street late at night, the kind of quiet that makes your thoughts louder. Streetlights flicker overhead like broken signals from a malfunctioning universe. You stop for a moment. No phone, no distractions, just the hum of your own existence echoing inside your skull. And suddenly, a question drops into your consciousness like a thunderclap. What if everything you've been told about reality, about time, space, and control, is fundamentally wrong? What if the very fabric of the universe is not made of matter but of relationships? Not physical proximity, but invisible, inexplicable connections that defy time, distance, and logic. That's not poetic metaphor. That's quantum entanglement. The very real, very unsettling discovery that two particles, no matter how far apart, can become so deeply intertwined that the state of one instantly affects the other. Instantly, faster than light, without a signal, without a cause. And here's where it gets even stranger. What if your subconscious mind, that buried part of you filled with half-buried memories, gut feelings, dreams you don't understand, operates in the same way? What if your thoughts are entangled with the universe itself? Not metaphorically. Literally. Let that sink in. Your moods, your energy, your sense of meaning may not arise solely from within you. They may be responding to invisible signals from something else, something far away, or perhaps something not in this timeline at all. What if your fatigue isn't yours? What if your anxiety belongs to someone else entirely? Someone you've never met, but who somehow through a forgotten event or a choice made years ago became entangled with you. It sounds insane, until you realize that Einstein himself called this phenomenon spooky action at a distance. He hated it, because it shattered everything he thought was solid, cause and effect, separateness, the arrow of time. And yet, it's been proven over and over, in labs, on paper, particles communicate across galaxies without delay. So the real question is, if particles can do this, why can't you? Why can't your energy shift without movement? Why can't your intuition predict the future before logic catches up? Why do you feel people's presence, even when they're miles away or dead? You see, quantum physics doesn't just break the rules. It burns the entire rulebook and hands you a mirror. Not a mirror of your body, a mirror of your mind, a mirror of your hidden self. The version of you that can't be explained by biology or trauma or childhood. The version of you that exists outside of time, quietly observing, whispering truths you're too afraid to hear. The version that remembers things you never learned and knows things you never studied. Could this be why certain people seem to vibrate differently? Why some walk into a room and everyone turns, even though they say nothing at all? Why others seem trapped in endless loops of failure, of heartache, of stagnation, no matter how hard they try to break free? What if it's not about effort, but about entanglement? About energy fields you didn't know you were a part of? You've felt it, haven't you? That uncanny pull towards someone you've just met. That sudden chill in a room where something feels off. The déjà vu that wraps around your spine like a serpent and whispers, "You've been here before." None of that is random. None of that is meaningless. It's your subconscious reacting to a deeper field of information, a quantum field where time folds, thoughts ripple, and everything is connected. The ancient mystics spoke of it as the Akashic field. Tesla hinted at it when he said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So here's the paradox. You are one person, and you are not just one person. You are separate, and you are deeply entangled. Your choices are your own, and they are being influenced by invisible threads woven before you were born. The most chilling part, you are not trapped by this. You are powered by it. But only if you learn how to unlock it. Because once you master quantum entanglement, you don't just learn to observe reality differently. You learn to bend it from within. You stop reacting to energy. You command it. You begin to see how your subconscious mind was never just a shadowy corner of your psyche. It's a receiver, a transmitter, a bridge between your inner world and the source code of the universe. So the real question isn't what is quantum entanglement. The real question is, what will you become once you remember that you've always been connected to everything? And more dangerously, what happens when you choose to use that connection deliberately? The answers begin where science, psychology, and mystery collide. Let's open that door. The story begins not with answers, but with disobedience. In the early 20th century, the world of physics was a cathedral of certainty. Newton's laws ruled like scripture, cause and effect, force and mass, action and reaction. Everything had a reason. Everything followed a path. If you knew the starting point, you could calculate the ending. The universe was a grand, predictable machine, but then it cracked. It began with a whisper, a flicker of light, and the discovery that light didn't behave the way it was supposed to. Sometimes it acted like a wave, rippling, smooth, predictable. Other times, it behaved like a particle, sharp, precise, singular. It was both, and that made no sense. Enter Max Planck, a German physicist. In 1900, while trying to solve a simple problem about blackbody radiation, how objects emit heat, he stumbled into something that would fracture physics forever. He proposed that energy wasn't continuous. It came in chunks, discrete packets, quanta. It was a small theory, a patch, a placeholder. Even Planck himself didn't fully believe in it. But the crack had opened. Soon after, Albert Einstein, yes, that Einstein, took Planck's idea and made it more dangerous. In 1905, he argued that light didn't just sometimes act like a particle. It was a particle, a quantum of energy, a photon. It won him the Nobel Prize. But more importantly, it launched a war between the visible world we believe in and the invisible realm that shapes it. Then came Niels Bohr, who designed the first quantum model of the atom. His vision was elegant, electrons orbiting a nucleus like planets around a sun. But that model began to break apart the moment they looked closer. Because when they actually measured the electrons, really tried to pin down where they were, they discovered something terrifying. You couldn't find both the position and the velocity of a particle at the same time. No matter how precise your tools, no matter how hard you tried. This wasn't a measurement error, this was a fundamental law of reality. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. It was as if the universe was saying, you can know where something is, or you can know where it's going, but never both. Choose. The ground was now gone. Reality wasn't fixed. It was fuzzy, fluid, unknowable. And just when it couldn't get stranger, it did. Physicists began experimenting with particles, splitting them, entangling them, sending them in opposite directions, and what they found made even Einstein nervous. Two particles could become linked, entangled, and no matter how far apart they were, a change in one would instantly reflect in the other. Einstein, horrified, called it spooky action at a distance. He believed there had to be some hidden variable, some local cause. He couldn't accept that information could travel faster than light. It broke the one law he held sacred. But in 1964, John Bell developed a theorem to test it. And when physicists finally ran the experiments in the 1980s and 90s, the results were undeniable. Entanglement is real. Information doesn't need space to travel. Reality doesn't obey our logic. Even more disturbing, if you observe one particle, the other changes. Let that settle in. Just by observing something, you alter something else. This wasn't philosophy. This was hard science. Suddenly, the observer was no longer separate from the experiment. The observer became part of reality itself. Think about the implications of that. Your attention, your conscious observation has power. You're not a spectator. You're a participant in the fabric of what is. Now let's return to the subconscious, the part of you that's always watching, even when you're not, the part that feels without words, sees without seeing. It too is an observer, and if quantum theory says the act of observation changes reality, then your subconscious may already be bending the world quietly, constantly, without your awareness. But here's the twist, this isn't new. The mystics knew it long before science did. Nikola Tesla once said, the day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. Tesla believed that energy, vibration, and frequency were the true keys to understanding reality. And yet we dismissed him as eccentric until quantum physics began catching up. Even Carl Jung, the famed psychologist, spoke of a collective unconscious, a deep psychic field where all human thoughts and memories are stored, connected, timeless. He never used the word quantum, but his descriptions? They were nearly identical to how physicists describe entanglement. The history of quantum theory is not a tale of progress. It's a tale of disruption, of truths too large for the human mind to accept. Every time we thought we had the world figured out, the quantum realm shattered that illusion. And now, it's doing it again. Because what these scientists found in particles, you're beginning to find in yourself. You feel the energy of others. You anticipate events before they occur. You dream of things that later come true. You heal from traumas not just of your own, but those carried in your bloodline, your ancestry, your field. This is not mysticism. This is quantum entanglement in human form. The laws of the universe are not outside you. They are echoing through you. And your subconscious mind, it's not broken, it's not irrational. It's operating in a language science has only just begun to understand. So the question isn't whether quantum physics matters. The question is, what happens when you finally align your conscious mind with the deep entangled intelligence already running beneath it? We've followed the breadcrumbs. Now it's time to confront what they lead to. Because while science explained the mechanics, it never warned us of the consequences. You wake up, you reach for your phone, notifications flood your screen, your heart rate spikes slightly. Nothing major, just an invisible jolt of cortisol. You don't know it yet, but something in your nervous system has already shifted. A missed call, a random memory, a strange feeling in your chest that doesn't belong to anything that happened today. Now pause. Ask yourself, where did that feeling come from? Not everything you feel is yours. Not every emotion you carry began inside you, and not every decision you make is truly yours. This is the hidden cost of entanglement, because the same field that empowers you to connect beyond space and time also chains you to energetic patterns you can't see. The truth: you are absorbing energy constantly from the people around you, from the collective unconscious, from echoes of trauma that linger not just in your family, but in society itself. Your subconscious mind, like a quantum receiver, is open 24/7, and most of us never learned how to filter the signal. That voice in your head saying you're not enough, it might not even be your voice. It might be an echo from your mother's fear, or your father's unspoken disappointment, or your culture's belief that you must do more to be more. And yet, it feels like you, because your subconscious doesn't fact-check. It absorbs. It remembers everything. Every slight, every shame, every moment your nervous system felt unsafe. Like a quantum field storing energetic imprints, your subconscious becomes saturated with memories that aren't conscious but still control you. Here's the terrifying part. You don't respond to the present moment. You respond to the entangled patterns your subconscious has inherited. And those patterns, they shape your behavior. They bend your thoughts. They distort your energy field without asking permission. You think you're making a rational choice, picking a career, falling in love, ending a friendship, but beneath that decision are 1,000 invisible threads pulling at you. Some from your past, some from people who aren't even alive anymore, some from collective traumas you've never directly experienced. That's how quantum entanglement operates on the level of consciousness, and the consequences, they're everywhere. Let's make this real. Have you ever met someone and instantly felt drained after talking to them without knowing why? Have you ever walked into a room and sensed something was wrong, even when everyone was smiling? That's not vibes, that's energetic data. Your subconscious mind is constantly scanning the field, reading frequencies, measuring coherence, detecting misalignment before your brain even has a chance to catch up. Now zoom out, think bigger. Society itself is entangled in mass patterns. Consumerism, scarcity, validation addiction. We chase dopamine, we medicate silence. We fear stillness because stillness is where the deeper signal becomes loud. You think you're lazy, but you're likely burnt out by energetic noise you didn't know you were carrying. You think you lack motivation, but your subconscious might be entangled with belief systems that were never yours to begin with. Psychologists call them cognitive distortions. Neurologists talk about neural networks and limbic loops. But all of these are just names for something deeper: entrained energy. It's what happens when your brain wires itself to match what your environment told you was normal, even when it's toxic, even when it's false, even when it kills your potential. Over time, these entanglements become your reality, not because they're true, but because they're familiar. And the subconscious mind, it doesn't chase truth, it chases survival. It repeats whatever pattern made you feel safe, even if that safety is suffocating you now. This is the prison, not made of walls or bars, but of frequencies, habits, and unresolved emotion. You are trapped not by your circumstances, but by the energy signatures you've never questioned. And here's the kicker. Because of quantum entanglement, these patterns don't need to be local. You can be affected by someone else's trauma from across the world. You can pick up emotional residue from an event you didn't witness. You can inherit pain from your lineage, grandparents, ancestors, past generations, and feel it as if it were your own. This isn't spiritual woo. It's backed by epigenetics. Scientists have found that trauma can leave a genetic imprint that is passed down for generations, altering how genes express without changing the DNA itself. Combine that with entanglement, and what do you get? A human being walking around haunted by patterns they never consented to, but which still shape their life, relationships, and energy. Now you may be thinking, if this is true, then I'm doomed. I'm not even fully in control of myself. But that's not the message. The message is this: you are powerful. But that power is dormant until you recognize the field you're standing in. Because once you see the threads, you can begin to untangle them. You can learn to distinguish between your truth and the noise you've absorbed. The first step is awareness. The second is rebellion. Because make no mistake, this system of unconscious entanglement is not neutral. It benefits from your ignorance. It feeds on your autopilot. It thrives when you believe this is just how I am. But you are not static. You are not doomed to replay loops. You are a quantum being, embedded in a field of possibility so vast your conscious mind can barely contain it. And right now, that possibility is whispering through your nervous system, waiting for one choice: to wake up. Because the cost of staying entangled isn't just stagnation, it's disconnection from your own life force. The very energy that could heal you, empower you, awaken your deepest potential, remains locked behind habits that no longer serve you. But the moment you say, "This pattern ends with me," the field shifts. And when that happens, you don't just change your mind, you change reality itself. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror, but this mirror doesn't reflect your face. It reflects your field, the tangle of memories, emotions, ancestral echoes, cultural scripts, all the threads you didn't choose but carry. And then, something happens. For the first time, you see the threads. You see what's you and what never was. That moment, that is the beginning of rebellion. Because rebellion in the quantum world is not about overthrowing governments. It's about overthrowing the internal architecture that keeps you small. It's about breaking the illusion that you are just a body, just a mind, just a product of circumstance. You are not. You are a signal, a node in the most intelligent network in the universe. And the moment you realize that, you stop obeying reality and start rewriting it. Let's begin with something radical. You do not need permission to break free, not from your past, not from your trauma, not from your identity. Because freedom is not given to you, it's remembered. And what you're remembering is that you've always been connected to the source of energy itself, through the entanglement of consciousness, intention, and vibration. So how do you break free? Not by effort, not by hustle, but by changing your resonance. Think of a tuning fork. Strike it, and nearby forks begin to vibrate. That's resonance. And it's how your energy works too. Every thought you hold, every belief, every emotion emits a frequency, and that frequency pulls reality toward it. You've seen this. When you're confident, grounded, clear, doors open. When you're in fear, shame, confusion, everything collapses. It's not magic, it's resonance. Buddha sat beneath the tree, not to escape, but to dissolve identity. Nikola Tesla spent hours in silence, visualizing his inventions, because he understood the field was real, and that thought creates structure. You don't have to become a monk to break free, but you do need to challenge everything you think is true about how things are. Try this. If you always feel like you're not enough, ask, who entangled me with that belief? Was it my mother's anxiety? My culture's obsession with productivity? Remedus nare crashes every time you enter a room. Ask, am I absorbing someone else's emotional field without awareness? If your life feels stuck, ask, what pattern am I replaying out of habit? What frequency have I been broadcasting without realizing it? These aren't philosophical questions. They're tools for energetic sovereignty. Because once you name the pattern, you start to weaken the thread. And when you replace that pattern with a new resonance, joy, truth, power, your entire field shifts. This isn't woo-woo, this is physics. In quantum mechanics, the wave function collapses into a particle only when observed. In other words, reality crystallizes based on what you focus on. So ask yourself, what are you collapsing into form every day with your focus? Are you collapsing fear, doubt, comparison? Or are you collapsing clarity, power, expansion? Attention is your wand. Whatever you observe with conviction becomes, and when your subconscious aligns with this truth, the game changes. You stop trying to manipulate the outer world. You start reprogramming the frequency you send out. This is not about affirmations, it's about resonance. You can say, I am powerful 1,000 times, but if your energy says, I am afraid, the field listens to your energy, not your words. So how do you shift it? Stillness, not scrolling, not escaping, just sitting. Because the subconscious speaks in silence, and until you hear what it's echoing, you can't change the signal. Intention, not goals, not pressure, just clarity. What frequency do you choose to hold today? Peace, purpose, expansion, not fake positivity, but action that matches your new frequency. When you feel unworthy, but speak truth anyway. When you feel fear, but move anyway. That's resonance in motion. Release, not fixing, not fighting, releasing. Let go of what's not yours. Not by force, but by recognition. Ah, that was never my fear, that was theirs, and the thread dissolves. This is rebellion. This is what it means to break the invisible contract that says stay small, to refuse the subconscious programming that says this is all there is. It's not. There's more energy, more truth, more you. Because when you stop resonating with distortion and start tuning into coherence, you begin to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. And in that remembering, something extraordinary happens. You start to attract people, opportunities, insights, not by effort, but by alignment. Because the field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. And the moment you become someone new, truly energetically new, the field reconfigures itself around you. Not instantly, but inevitably. You don't just change your life. You start to bend probability. You start to defy logic. You start to walk into rooms and shift the atmosphere without saying a word, because your frequency precedes you. And it's no longer distorted by unseen threads. It's clear. It's sovereign. It's yours. That's the rebellion. And it's only the beginning. You've been searching your whole life for meaning, for peace, for power that doesn't come from controlling the world, but from finally feeling at home inside yourself. And here it is, the final truth. You are not just in the universe. The universe is in you. Every cell in your body hums with the same intelligence that moves stars. Every thought sends a signal into the field. Every feeling shapes what collapses into form. You are not broken. You are not behind. You're simply entangled with things that no longer serve you. But you can let go. Not by force, not by fixing, but by remembering. You are energy. You are awareness. You are the observer and the creator. The pain you carry, it taught you. The patterns you repeated, they protected you. But they are not you. You are the silence beneath the noise, the still point in the storm, the calm, clear field of infinite choice. The moment you stop identifying with the story, you become free to write a new one. The moment you stop trying to escape the present, you realize it's the only place your power ever lived. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to return to who you were before fear rewrote your frequency. Breathe. Feel your body. You're here, now. And from this place, you choose. Not based on past pain, not based on old entanglements, but based on resonance, alignment, truth. That's what mastery looks like. Not perfection. Presence. So ask yourself, right here, right now, what energy do I choose to be? That answer is your new reality. Simple, quiet, real. And once you live from that place, everything changes. Because when you remember you are the field, you stop waiting. You start radiating. And the universe has no choice but to respond.